back to another edition of the weekly recap, WVCW style. This week we're going to go over a few things, try to get everything situated. From the last couple of weeks, we've had some issues with Blog Talk, and then we had some issues with the uplink satellite from here at the ranch. But, this is Hojo. We're going to talk about what's coming up this weekend, what's coming up in the next month, and what's coming up in the next year. We've had some really good news come in. There's been a couple of events scheduled for in the next year. But let's start with, what happened today on WVCW TV. We saw a replay and the actual interview that happened after Scotty Blaze's return. Now, I have to admit, it was one of the most awesome things I've ever been a part of. I slipped out to watch it, and oh my goodness, just the emotion of the crowd when Blaze returned to the ring, come out and save the heartthrobs from the OSE. I mean, we had the turning of Sean Cruz, well, the Arsenal unmasking to be Sean Cruz, and then to help beat down the OSE. And then all of a sudden, here comes Blaze in the front door. The people erupt. It was a thing of beauty. And really, if you haven't had a chance to see this, go to the YouTube, WVCW TV on YouTube. Go look at the Facebook, WVCW TV. The Daily Blast has it on it today. Spotlight has it on the day. There's a replay of it on the TV. This moment in time is one of the greatest moments you'll ever see at a live event and at a taped event. I just wish the energy could have transferred over to the tape better, but it was really a great thing. And really and truly, I'm not sure what this spells for the OSE, WVCW in general. I mean, Scotty Blaze is back, and he seems to be running on all cylinders. He's running on diesel again, so things could get ugly real quick for a lot of people. After that, on the TV today, we had the Hall of Fame pieces. Now, it's the three inductees this year in the WVCW Hall of Fame. Now, the actual induction ceremonies will be held this Saturday at the live event at the Rec Center. The doors are going to open approximately 6:45, maybe 6:30. There'll be a couple preliminary matches with some younger stars to go on before the actual taping. And then during the night, the inductions will be held. The inductees this year are Mark Canterbury. Now, most of you are going to know him as Henry Godwin. He's originally from down around Peterstown, and personal side note, I've known Mark for quite a few years. I've known him since I was a kid, before he got into wrestling. I saw one of his first matches when he started wrestling at the old high school in Union. He was a Peterstown kid, went to Peterstown High School, and I know a lot of y'all don't know this history, but Peterstown Union, dreaded rivals, and Mark's about 6 years older than me, but we played basketball and pickup games on the courts of Monroe County. Now, I'm not saying this is the mean streets or anything, but that was pretty vicious, and we have a respect for each other from that, and from the fact we've got a lot of similar things, and I love Mark. Mark is one of the truly good guys out there. He doesn't get the respect that he deserves a lot of times because he was doing a hillbilly gimmick. I mean, when he was in New York, he was Henry O. Godwin. He was tagging with Tex, Phineas Godwin, and really and truly, they were looked at as a sideshow act and a joke. And I have a lot of personal experience with this. I've went through this myself. I spent the first 15 years of my career being the hillbilly, and you don't get a lot of respect out of it. It's you're considered a joke, and Mark is far from a joke. He's one of the toughest men I've ever seen, and he's a top competitor. I mean, you go on YouTube and you start looking at the body of his work and the quality of matches he had in New York. I mean, he was out there with The Undertaker and going toe-to-toe and looking like he deserved to be there. There's a match with Mankind if you look for it. There's a lot of stuff. And, I mean, short of the neck injury he suffered where his C6 was shattered, it's hard to tell how far he could have risen, because they had taken him out of the hillbilly gimmick and they'd put him over to being himself. He wasn't Henry Godwin anymore. He was actually Mark Canterbury, and there was a lot of potential there. And I'm happy that we're inducting Mark. And that brings me, I've got a lot of personal connections to the second inductee I'm going to talk about, and that's Gypsy Joe. I traveled the roads with Gypsy, and this man is such a fount of everything. He's what we all aspire to be if we get into this profession. Now, it's hard right now. Gypsy's in a rough spot. They had to do some cutting on him because his foot was gone, so they had to take it off, and it's really sad right now. But Gypsy Joe, Gene Madrid, whatever you want to call him, I mean, the reason there's professional wrestling, the reason there's WVCW right now, is the fact that Gypsy came in, excuse me, in the 70s with a partner, and they set up a local promotion. It was based out of Oak Hill. WAY showed it, and they wrestled all over the state. And from those humble beginnings, everything that's come after has come off of that, because everybody who was trained, everybody who has learned anything in this state about this business comes from that central nucleus of there. Because you had Gypsy, you had Jan Madrid, you had Black Eagle, Padunovac. Everybody has been touched by someone who came out of WAY wrestling. So, whether they know it or not. But, yeah, Gypsy, I mean, man has been everywhere. He wrestled Tajiri 2 years ago in Japan, made his big return over there. And packed house. I mean, he is a legend in Japan. He's a legend in Tennessee. And truly, in my heart, he is a legend. He's probably the top performer to ever base out of West Virginia in a lot of ways. So we're really happy about being able to get Gypsy into the Hall of Fame where he rightfully deserves to be. And then, of course, our third inductee is actually going to be at the Rec Center this Saturday. And we're really happy about this. And not only is he coming, he says he wants a match. He's wanting to get in the ring. He may do some refereeing. You just never know. He's probably going to come out and kiss a few people. I'm hoping he gets Sinclair and just grabs him by both ears and plants a big one right on him, because we got the Boogie Woogie Man, Handsome Jimmy, coming in. And Handsome Jimmy Valiant, Boogie Woogie Man. Can it get any better than that? I mean, most everybody in this state has gotten the chance to see Boogie, because Boogie, after he retired from the major ring wars, after he got out of the major promotions, he went and he found himself a home in Shawsville, Virginia. He's right here close, and he's training kids down there at the Boogie's Wrestling Camp. I mean, he's doing a lot of good works, and he's always done good works. Boogie is a good man at heart, and he's been all over the place. And now, this Saturday night, Princeton Rec Center, he's going to be there live in action. He's going to receive his plaque. He's probably going to kiss a couple people. Might pull down the goggles to keep somebody from spitting the mist in his eyes. You just never know. And truly, that's just part of what's going to be happening this Saturday night at Princeton at the Rec Center. Beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful environment. And really and truly, if you've never been to one of the Hall of Fame deals, I mean, all the events, all the TV tapings at the Rec Center are huge events. The energy, this excitement. It's not like going to some of these, five and dime, run by night things. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and there's a lot of energy, and you feel like you've been somewhere and done something. So, once again, this one's going to be more special, because the Hall of Fame ones, there's a lot of emotion out there, and not just from the fans. Every year we induct people that are near and dear to our hearts, the wrestlers. Now, a lot of times, the fans understand who they are and what they are, but these are people who are near and dear to our hearts. These are people who have touched us in some way or another, that have helped us, who have laid down the ground, the stepping stones so that we can make advances and get into this profession and do what we want to do. And this is just a little way of giving back. So come on out Saturday night. It's going to be a good show. A lot of big matches. I've been informed by the BOD that there may be up to 5 episodes taped. There's going to be a lot of action, and it's on a $7 ticket, folks. $7. You can't go see a movie for $7. You might be able to sneak into a matinee, but you better hope to God it ain't a 3D movie, because they're going to pop a $3 charge on you there. Concessions are a lot better than going to the movies, and you're going to get a lot of quality family entertainment. The whole family can come, and you feel like you're a part of something, because coming out to the live events, you become part of the nation. It just sucks you in, and really, come on out. You got to see it. It's going to be great. But back to the TV. from today. Now we've talked about the Hall of Famers, and I'm actually quite excited. I get to be the one who gives the induction speech for Gypsy Joe, so I've got to work out the words on that and feel and get exactly where I feel and what I need to get across on that. But from the TV today, after that, we had the words from the network. They accepted a challenge from the Outlaw Revolution to a match. I'm quite glad we had that. I had to wear the orthopedic mask again from the fireball I took in war, but thankfully it looks like everything's well. I competed without the mask this weekend. As long as the doctors for WVCW will allow me, I'll be competing without a mask at the taping this weekend. But at this point, the tapings from last time, it was still so fresh. I had to wear the mask, but it was a good 8-man match. We had the entire network, including William Lavelle, taking on the Outlaw Revolution of Daniel Halen, Stephen Michaels, Mikey Stevens, Stephen Michaels, Mikey Stevens, Stephen Michaels, Stephen Michaels, Michael, and then the Outlaws, me and Mr. St. Clair. And good hard-hitting match. Come out to a good conclusion because at the end of it, I actually pinned J.C. Dykes twice. Now, I don't get the TV title out of that, and really and truly, it was personal vindication at that point just to be able to pin him. Just to be able to shut him up that I can't pin him. I mean, I don't know why he thinks I can't. I've pinned everybody else I've ever faced at one point in time or another. So we'll get around to that, and there's a lot more coming up on that. I think there may be a big announcement at the TV about me finally getting another shot at that title. And I think it's going to be something special in November. I'm not sure what. The board of directors has really been trying to push the envelope with this, try to get something that the fans want to see. I think there's even been some talk that they've been talking to a committee of fans, trying to set up the type of match that the fans themselves want to see. So we'll have to see where that goes. I'm game for anything. I've never backed down, and I never will. Never a challenge too big. But that was the basics of the TV this week. Spotlight, we had a lot of little things, little retouches. Like I said, one of the first things is, of course, a recap of the whole Blaze coming back. And really and truly, folks, this was a big moment. We were not expecting this because, I mean, the man had a heart attack in April, and then another one in May. And then he had a lot of personal tragedy. He lost his father and everything, and that really takes something out of a man. And for him to be able to come back in this short a time, I mean, last I'd heard, the doctors had said maybe next spring, and for him to be there and to be in perfect shape. I mean, he looks great. He seems like he's in perfect health. This could really be, I mean, this is a really big thing. But and then also on Spotlight, we had a few other little things. Daniel Halen's ultimate gift search for me. I'm still not sure what this kid's thinking. Just ask me. I can probably tell you. There's not a whole lot in the world I'm wanting that would be an ultimate gift. I mean, he can give me a sack full of 50s. Hell, everybody'd take that. But some funny stuff, and I'm not sure why he has a picture of me naked on the toilet. We need to check on that. But if you watch Spotlight, you can see that it was actually on the Daily Blast yesterday, also on the Tuesday edition. And then really and truly, the main feature on this week's Spotlight is we brought you another match from Fall Brawl. Fall Brawl was taped back in September down in War, West Virginia, and this was the main event of the night. We actually got permission. It was aired on Spotlight, and it was the Universal Heartthrobs versus OSE, kind of tying in with everything that's been going on. And it was the night that the Throbs took the belts back from the OSE. It was a really special night. Really special in the fact that, dancing, prancing, kissing, whatever, hustler Rip Manson was born and raised about 2 minutes from where that ring was set up in Moore, West Virginia. He's from the county. He's county proud, and for him to be able to pick up the win and get another run with those coveted West Virginia Championship Wrestling Tag Team titles right there in his hometown, that was a really special event. The people there were excited for their hometown boy to get the titles back, and it was a really good match. You just need to pick it up, click over on it. Now, I will warn you, YouTube has been getting really spazzy. WVCW, TV, Spotlight, New Media, all attempt to use royalty-free music as much as possible in attempt to to let people watch the programming wherever they can. And a lot of times, that means you can't use a song that somebody knows, because if it's got a royalty claim against it, you can't watch it on mobile. You can't watch it on your phone, can't watch it on the iPad. Well, a lot of the royalty-free music is being claimed up at this point by little fly-by-night companies that really don't own them, and it's really hampered us. So I know for a fact that this week's Spotlight was not mobile, not allowed to be mobile, because of a song that's been used for 4 months on there that was perfectly fine up until Tuesday of this week. So if you're having trouble watching it on mobile, we're sorry. We're working constantly to try to get all of our content to be mobile ready, and going forward, we're really going to push for that. I mean, we've actually been in claims and fights with YouTube in the last week on multiple things, just trying to get it all set up, because we want the fans to be able to see our product. We don't want, I mean, if you're wanting to sit there at the doctor's office and catch a couple minutes of our programming, you should be able to on your phone. And really, it's kind of sad that people are so petty that they would try to claim someone else's creative property just to make a dime. But other than that, that's about it for the programming this week. A lot of really good stuff. Now there is some more programming. Now, of course, this is a little weekly podcast we've been trying to do. We've had the issues the last couple of weeks. Once again, I'm so sorry, but not really much we can do about that. But this week, Tuesday night, let's say Tuesday night, was the premiere edition of Daniel and the Lion's Den. Daniel Halen is now going to do a weekly podcast. You can pick that up. You can look for the links on the WVCW TV Facebook page. I believe it's blog talk / WVIPW is the actual site that this is based out of. It's the same one that The Art of Change with William Lavelle is being based out of now. And now the Art of Change will come on tomorrow, actually later today, tomorrow, depending on how you want to look at it and when you've been to bed and when you haven't. But that's Thursday nights at 11. Now, excuse me. Daniel, we're trying to get these podcasts out here, and I really appreciate anyone who listens. I'd like to thank the Nerdy 30s as always. They were on right before. Now, I will care to mention this right now. I should have probably mentioned this off the top. As you can tell, I'm coughing a little bit, and the throat's a little scratchy. I'm pre-recording tonight, so I have no clue what's going to happen on the Nerdies tonight. This is going to play immediately after, and I figured it would be better to do this and do a pre-record and not risk, hacking up a lung and just, ruining the entire show. So, once again, just bear with me tonight. If there's anything major that happens on Nerdies and you don't hear about it here, that's why. But all these podcasts, it's just an attempt to get more information out there, let you know a little bit about us. I mean, West Virginia Championship Wrestling is a small promotion. We know this. We have no delusions of grandeur. But we want you to know us, because as far as West Virginia goes, we are West Virginia's pro wrestling. We have consistently ran for the last 3 years. Now, we've had our programming on for the entire length of that time. We make a lot of content. There's a lot of content out there. And looking forward into the next year, we'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit. We've already got 16 dates signed for 2014. Now, a couple of those are prohibitive dates. We're waiting on confirmation with a fair and festival or two. But the ones we can say for sure, Cold Clash. The return of Cold Clash. There hasn't been a Cold Clash since before the television began airing. We did one of these back in, I believe it was 2010. But on April 5th at the Bluefield Auditorium, it's going to be Cold Clash. Now, a portion of the proceeds is going to go to the Upper Big Branch Miners Fund to help with the families, help with the memorial, whatever they need to do with the money. And it's going to be at the Bluefield Auditorium. We all know that's the home of Miracle on the Mountain, and they have begged us to bring more events in, and we said, well, here's one we can do. So look for more information as it comes. We really have no clue what all is going to happen there. But it's going to be a big event, and I'm sure ramifications from it will be felt at Miracle on the Mountain. So if if you're going to go to one, you better go to both, just to make sure you know everything that's going on. And then the other big announcement was we've actually set, the date has been set for Miracle on the Mountain 4. It's going to be May 31st. We're trying to get in and beat the graduations. We had a lot of issues with graduations last year, and we don't want to give people a hardship. If you want to come out and see the event, you want to come out and support the Children's Miracle Network, the Children's Hospital in Morgantown, it should be easy. You shouldn't have to choose between coming to the event or going and see your grandchildren, let's say, graduate. So May 31st, it's end of the month, but it's kind of the beginning of the next, so it's going to be really good. And the really big and exciting news is I've seen some stuff come across the desk this week. WVCW Board of Directors and the bookers have been receiving requests from top international stars, top TNA stars, about being a part of Miracle on the Mountain 4. Now this is great. I mean, normally you have to go out and scour and find people, but no, they're contacting us. They're wanting to be a part of this. They say it's a premier wrestling event in Southern West Virginia every year, and they want to be a part of it. They want to come out and they want to support the kids. They want to support the Children's Miracle Network. So, this is going to be a really big show this year, and it's going to be great. And truly, those are two huge events. There's also talks of a major tag team tournament to come next fall. We're in negotiations with a couple other companies to get this brought about. And if this comes about, it could be a really major thing. And I mean, it's just everything's looking up, everything's coming up roses, and we want to thank you, the fans, for this. We put a lot of hard work into this, a lot of work that people don't realize, but it's all for naught if not for you people, and we thank you. We thank you for giving your hard-earned dollar to us. We thank you for giving us your hard-valued time. I mean, a lot of, the fact that you're sitting here listening to this, even if you just popped it in while you're driving to work or whatever, you are investing in us by investing your time, and that's a beautiful thing, and we thank you. Now, we got a few other things we need to talk about. One of them is we got the big fundraiser at the beginning of next month. It's going to be November the 2nd at Golly Bridge Elementary. Now, what this is, the PTO up there contacted the offices saying they wanted to have something in to help raise funds to buy playground equipment. Playground equipment is not cheap. It's not cheap at all. And truly, it's a major concern if you have old equipment that's dangerous, because, I mean, even a small school, you've got over 100 kids a day playing on a merry-go-round, let's say, and all it takes is one little thing, and then you could have a major problem. So, we here at West Virginia Championship Wrestling, we're like, sure, we will come in. What do you need us to do? And what was decided is November 2nd, we're going to present a night of live professional wrestling to benefit this playground. Now, I'm hoping we can raise enough money to buy a piece of equipment to sell this first one, but we're going to do everything in our power. Now, if it takes 2 shows to do it, we'll do 2 shows. As long as they're willing to have us help them, we will be helping them. But the event, we've already got matches announced. There was actually another match signed this week that's really exciting. I guess the main event, I mean, truly, is going to be a special grudge match. George South came on TV a couple weeks ago and blamed all of his hardships and brokenheartedness on the fact that the Outlaws were on the card higher than him, that it was the Outlaws with George South. And Eric took offense to this. I mean, I can honestly say me and Eric have never done anything but respect George. And if he feels the need to come out and call us out for something we have no control over, I mean, we didn't make the poster. We didn't tell the announcer what to say. We were all together. I thought we were a unified front. He's the one who came out and said that he was a member of the Outlaws. We never said he was. He said he was. But, so George South, Eric Sinclair, special grudge match setting up for Golly Bridge. It's going to be a good one, folks. You just got to come out and see that one. We'll hopefully get some footage of it later, but you've got to be there to see it. You'll never know what happened unless you're there. Another big match. It's going to be a return match. It's a match that happened on TV about a month ago. A lot of people have said it's the match of the year. It's one of the top matches that's happened on the TV ever. It was a night that a lot of people's eyes opened up and they realized Benny Conley is completely legit. And Baron Bullard's not happy about it. He's not happy that Benny is trading on his name, so to speak. So, we're going to have a rematch. Benny Conley, Baron Bullard, live at Golly Bridge. You got to be there to see it. But again, folks, last time was a barn burner. I'm sure it won't be any less this time. Other big match. It's a non-title match because it's not a television taping. It's not going to be part of a television broadcast. But me and JC Dykes, I'm not sure if there's stipulations on this or not. I really don't care. We'll show up. If they want to say we can't fight in the ring, we got to fight in the street, we'll go fight in the street. If we got to fight in the bathroom, we'll fight in the bathroom. It's going to be a fight. It's not going to be a wrestling match. Somebody ain't going to grab a headlock and lay down there. It's going to be a fight. But Dykes, Hojo, I think we're up to 4 or 5. Who cares? Who puts a number on these things anyway? It's going to be a fight. It's Hojo and Dykes. It's always a fight. And just added, confirmation was made that they would both be in attendance. I'm not sure what the actual number is, but Daniel Halen versus Kurt Taylor in a best of 7 series matchup. That's right. This one's not going to be on TV, folks. You're going to have to be at the live event to see Halen and Taylor. It should be a big night. And the fact, honestly, I'm looking at the card right here. I'm seeing Dykes. I'm seeing Taylor. I've seen confirmation that Chris Keffer's going to be there. That tells me one thing. William Lavelle is going to crawl out of his hole, and he's going to come to Golly Bridge, West Virginia. Now, I'm not sure what's going to come of this. I'm not sure. I'm hoping I can get my hands on him. I'm hoping I can pick him up and drop him straight on his head. Try to knock some sense back into Rando, because it's Rando to me. I don't care that he wants to call himself William Lavelle. He can call himself the King of Siam for all I care. That's Rando. And there's something wrong with Rando. And there's somebody's put something in that brain of his. Because that's not the Rando I know. But, Golly Bridge, November 2nd, 7 o'clock bell time. And tell you what, folks, everybody says, oh, y'all got cheap ticket prices. $7 is a cheap price. Tell you what, if you want to show up the day of the show in Golly Bridge and buy your ticket, you're going to pay that $7. But the school and Tudor's Biscuit World and Smithers, they both said, hey, let us help. Let's do something special for these people. So, if you can get your advance ticket at either the school or the Tudor's Biscuit World and Smithers, guess what? $5. $5 ticket. What can you do for $5 these days? You can barely buy a Happy Meal at McDonald's. $5 to get you a ticket to see a great night of live pro wrestling. Now, let's say $5 sounds a little steep to you. Well, what you do is you walk in the kitchen. Now, you grab some non-perishable food out of the cabinet. Not something that your family needs right now, but something that somebody else could use. And you take that and you take it to the school, and you take it to Smith, or you take it to the Tudors and Smithers. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to give you $1 off. That $5 ticket's now going to cost you $4. For $4, you can get and see this great night of action, including George South. He's a WVCW Hall of Famer. You've seen him on WCW, WWF, Smoky Mountain. He was everywhere. He worked more than the champions did back in the day. He was doing 8 and 9 shows a week. How many people can say that? Okay. So we're closing in on the end here, and I was wanting to go ahead and get everything tied up. We're going to talk about the TV taping again real quick, and truly, come out this Saturday night. It's the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We got Boogie there. We're going to induct Mark. We're going to induct Gypsy. Heck, George South is even coming in. I think he's got an issue with somebody or something. I'm figuring he's probably going to call Eric out, or he's going to call somebody out. I'm really thinking that when Terry Funk smacked the taste out of George's mouth in South Carolina a couple weeks ago, he knocked something loose up there too. So we got that going on, and just come out, folks. It's going to be a great night of action, and we hope to see everybody there. And just really come out. We want to see you. We appreciate everything you do, and we love you. We do this for you, and we'll see y'all next week. And I hope y'all have a good one. Hope to see y'all Saturday night, Princeton, West Virginia, at the Rec Center.